Hi, today in our Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous build video we are going to take a look at a main character build. I used a Bloodrager for my playthrough on unfair difficulty. We took a few levels on fighter as a multi-class, but the build is very straightforward. It is mostly just a Bloodrager 2-weapon fighting build. So let's start with our first level in character creation. So as I said, portrait I took a barbarian, class is Bloodrager. We are going the primalist path. I do believe it's by far the strongest just because it gives you access to rage powers. As race we take human. We are going to have a very feat intensive build, so those 2 feet, that 1 extra feat you get from human at first level does go a long way later on. As a background, it doesn't really matter. I took mercenary. Okay, so ability points. We really want that 20 in strength. We need 15 on dexterity for our 2-weapon fighting. Constitution, I took it to 12 because I don't want to dump intelligence, as I do still want 4 skill points. So I couldn't bring constitution any higher. Wisdom is our dump stat, and charisma is 13, so we still can cast a few spells. Skill points are not super relevant, except for knowledge, arcana, and athletics. Everything else is your choice, but those two I'd say are quite important, that you have the highest knowledge arcana in your party, and athletics you don't need to have the highest in your party, but you do want it as high as you can get. Our first feat is going to be weapon focus scimitar. Even though we won't have scimitars in the prologue and you will be using a glaive like every other character build we made, we still take it just in preparation. Second feat is going to be 2-weapon fighting. Again, we don't use it on the prologue, but we need all the feats we can get. If we can get too early on, we take it. Bloodline is going to be Arcana. The main reason is because Arcana as a bonus feat has Arcane Strike. It's a nice boost to damage, and we don't really use any of the Bloodline powers. We're going to trade all of them for extra rage powers. So the main reason we take Arcane Bloodline is the Arcane Strike extra feat we get. Deity doesn't really matter. Goron is kind of barbarian themed, so it's a good option. I did a evil playthrough, but you can choose whichever alignment you want. Appearance, I tried to match the portrait as best as I could. Voice and name I just random into something, so that's our first level. And our first few levels are going to be very straightforward. As I said, not many choices, so I'll just come back at level 4 to look at our rage powers and our third level feat choice. So at level 4 we already took Dazzling Display as our third level feat. We take Dazzling Display just because we'll need it later on to get to Shatter Defenses, and we had nothing better to take at this low level. For our primal choice, we want the 2 rage powers, ability scores, all go into strength. Here, remember athletics and knowledge arcana we want as high as possible. For our rage powers, we take lethal stance and deadly accuracy. Later we are going to go for the beast totem, but right now we don't get much out of beast totem, and deadly accuracy does give you some bonus, a small bonus, but it is something. I'd rather just wait to go the beast totem route. And for our spells, we take True Strike. This is the only one that really matters for our level 1. And later we'll be able to use spells as swift actions while raging. So True Strike, even though for most builds you don't get to use it at later levels, in our build we can still use it if we need as a swift action even late game. At level 8 we get another choice of rage powers, so again we change bloodline power for 2 rage powers. Ability score is going to be strength, skill points, athletics and knowledge arcana. Eternal Fortitude is our first rage power choice, and this is a great rage power for the time we get it. It gives you immunity to nauseated, and there are a lot of enemies around this level who cast Phantasmal Web, and Phantasmal Web gives you a nauseated condition. Getting this immunity at level 8 is great for our build. We can cast Freedom of Movement to get around the entangled effect from the web, but nauseated is still going to get us, and with Eternal Fortitude we are just straight up immune to Phantasmal Web now. For our second rage power we take Beast Totem Lesser in preparation for level 12 when we get the rest of the Beast Totem line. And spells, at level 7 we already took Mirror Image. This is the most important one, but Protection from Arrows and False Life can also see some use. They are not bad choices. At level 9 we get yet another bonus feat from our bloodline. So we take as our first feat Improved Critical Scimitar, and I know we are a bit late on the improved 2-weapon fighting, but I do value those criticals and those other feats that just allow us to hit more reliably. I'd rather be sure I hit the attacks I already have than have another attack which is probably going to be a miss. But this is a personal preference. I'm not really sure if this is the best optimization choice. So a improved 2-weapon fighting is viable here, but you really want improved critical at least before level 13, and when we get there we'll talk about why you need it. For our bonus feat we want Combat Reflexes. This is going to work very nicely with Outflank and later on allow us to take Seize the Moment for even more critical and attack of opportunity synergy. The spells don't really matter, we already have the best ones for those levels. At level 11 we finally take that improved 2-weapon fighting feat for an extra attack. The spells you can get Haste. It is probably the 3rd level spell you get most uses of, and for now we are going to take a look at our first few Mythic ranks, because you want to hold your level 13 until you have Mythic rank 4. I do believe I got level 13 before Mythic rank 4, and I had to wait a little bit to do my level up. And we'll go, so before we get to level 13, we are going to do our first 4 Mythic ranks and then come back to regular level up. At level 12, we get another choice of 2 rage powers. For our ability point, we take Strength. For our skill points, we take Athletics and Knowledge Arcana. As bonus feat from our bloodline, we are going to take Improved Initiative. And for first rage power, we take Beast Totem, and for our second rage power, we take Beast Totem Greater. What Beast Totem Greater does is it gives us the Pounce ability while raging, and Pounce allows us to do a full attack at the end of a charge instead of just a single hit. This means that when moving through the battlefield, you don't want to kill an enemy and just walk to the next. You want to charge to the 2 other enemies every time you kill someone. And this is a significant increase in your damage per turn, because if you just kill an enemy, move to the next, that turn you spend your turn moving and doing a single hit. With Beast Totem, we can both move with the charge and get a full attack instead of a single hit. So it may not look like much, especially when you are playing out of turn based. Maybe you don't notice those small details, but Beast Totem Greater is a huge increase in our damage per turn. Spells, there's nothing new here, so that does it for our level 12. So here we are at Mythic rank 4. At our first Mythic rank we took Bit of Fun. It's a couple of extra uses of mirror image basically, and that's great for us, and mostly I took Bit of Fun just because we are going Trickster, so that's the main reason. Our first Mythic ability was Limitless Rage, and I do think taking Last Stand is not a bad choice, but if you manage well your positioning, I think we can get away with Limitless Rage instead of Last Stand. Mythic level 2, we take 2 weapon fighting Mythic as our Mythic feat, basically a +2 to our attacks. Mythic rank 3, we get Last Stand as our second Mythic ability and Knowledge Arcana as our first Mythic trick. And this is the reason why you want the highest Knowledge Arcana in your party. As long as you have the highest Knowledge Arcana, you'll be the one to identify items, and when you identify them, their enhancement bonus is increased by 1. So weapons have an enhancement bonus, necklaces of natural armor have an enhancement bonus, belts of ability scores have an enhancement bonus. There are several items that get better for you identifying them with Knowledge Arcana rank 1. The only caveat here is that if you buy an item, you don't identify them. It's already identified, so anything that you buy is not going to have the Knowledge Arcana bonus to enhancement. So be aware of that. It's still a great ability and we take it as our first Mythic trick. And at Mythic rank 4 we take Improved Critical Mythic as our Mythic feat. As our trick we take Perception rank 1, and as our second trick we take Perception rank 2. This is going to give us access to the improved critical feat line. and that's the reason we want to hold our level 13 until we are Mythic rank 4, because this allows us to get our improved critical at level 13. So with that, let's go back to our regular level ups. For our 13th level, we are going to take our first dip into Fighter. We want Mutation Warrior, so we can get to that mutagen at Fighter level 3. There is an unfortunate bug here, as you can see, at level 11, where we got improved to weapon fighting. It seems that our feat was just deleted, and it shows as we had not taken to weapon fighting. Here at level 13 we were supposed to get greater to weapon fighting already, so because of this bug I'm not going to be able to show the build properly on the respec, but just imagine that here at level 11 we have improved to weapon fighting, and that at level 13 we were able to take greater to weapon fighting, as we should be able to. I imagine this bug is because we need a +4 dexterity belt to be able to take these feats, and probably during the respec the game is having some confusion with the +4 dex from the belt and the dex requirement for those feats, and is deleting them for some reason. But we take again points in athletic and knowledge arcana. For our regular feat we take improved critical scimitars, and for our fighter feat we take actually greater to weapon fighting. Because of the bug I'm taking again improved to weapon fighting. Also, for some reason the improved critical feat line is not showing on fighter combat feats. Don't know why, probably another bug. So because of that the improved critical is going to have to wait until level 15, which is a shame. We really wanted to take it at level 14 with our second bonus combat feat. So at level 20 we are going to go through the last few levels and see what we got. Just to remind you, because of the bug, the level 11 feat was supposed to be improved to weapon fighting, and our first fighter multi-class feat was supposed to be greater to weapon fighting at level 13. We went into fighter level 4, so until level 16 we go just fighter, and we took double slice and seize the moment as our fighter bonus feats, and that's mostly because the improved critical line is not showing up on fighter bonus feats. Don't know if it's a bug or what's the reason, but because of that we had to take double slice. We still want both of those feats, to be clear. We just would have taken the improved critical line before then, but because we couldn't, we take double slice here. This increases the damage of our offhand weapon, and we take seize the moment. This is going to give us even more attacks during a turn. So for our regular feats we took improved critical, is the last one we saw. Then we went with improved critical, and last we take improved critical, improved. This makes so that we hit on a 11 or higher, and makes our crit multiplier a ×4, because we already have improved critical mythic, making our scimitars do a ×3 on a critical, and now at level 17 we get a ×4 on critical hits. At level 19 we finally take power attack quite later on, but I think at this point we don't really miss the penalty to attack, so we can take power attack. If you don't like power attack because of the penalty, you can take weapon specialization instead for just a +2 to hit. And at level 20 we get again a choice of 2 rage powers. Ability score is going to be strength. Yes, we are going to end with an odd number in strength, and because of our knowledge arcana trick we can get a item that gives an odd number to strength, so at the end of the day we can get a +7 strength belt quite easily, making our strength an even number again. Skills, again we want athletics and knowledge arcana as high as possible. And for our rage powers we take lethal accuracy. This yet again increases our critical multiplier, so our scimitars will now be hitting 8 times 5 when we get a critical hit. And we take fearless rage. It's a nice immunity to have, and there's really nothing else I'd rather have here, so this makes our full 20 levels. And now we're going to take a look at what we did for our mythic path choices. Now that we have our level 10 mythic character, let's take a look at what we did past level 5. For ability, I always like Rupture Restraints. There's just so many CC in this game and the save zone unfair are so high that I just feel this is needed for some fights. For our mythic trick, we took Athletics rank 1. This also allows us to break out of CC using our athletics checks instead of saving throws. So you make an athletics check against the spell DC +15, but for now it only works against continuous effects. So maybe a stun that allows you to make a save every round and other similar effects. But at level 6 we take Athletics rank 2. This now works against basically every spells that allow you to make a saving throw, not only continuous but also instantaneous. You get a +20 to the spell DC instead of the +15 when it's instantaneous, but it's still very strong with our high athletics and the amount of equipment that can increase your competence bonus on athletics. It does make a huge difference when trying to avoid CC and now even damage against instantaneous effects. For our feat, we take Weapon Focus Mythic. It's a +1 to our attack rolls. We have so many attacks, it's worth it. Now for trick we take Knowledge Word. This doesn't do much, but Knowledge Word rank 2 is quite good. And at 7 we take Athletics rank 3. What it does is that it gives you a +5 to base attack bonus if you have full athletics rank, meaning your athletics rank is the same as your level. So as long as you put a point in athletics every level, when you get this mythic trick, you increase your base attack bonus by an extra +5. And as far as I understand, this does come in terms of giving you extra attacks and also for power attack. So all in all, a very powerful mythic trick, not only to increase your chance to hit, but also to increase your damage with power attack and the number of attacks you get. For our Mythic ability, we took Ever Ready with Outflank. Seize the moment. You'll be seeing a lot of attack opportunities pop up, so making them hit more easily and deal more damage is something we really want. Now that level 1 Mythic tricks are not that important. If you want to do something different, feel free. Lore Nature, I still think it's reasonable. It's not a huge deal, but I do like it. So that's why I took it. At level 8 we take Knowledge Word rank 2. Now this is really nice. It works for your entire party and it makes so that when someone rolls a 1, it becomes a 20 instead. So now no one in your party is going to roll 1s any longer. They will always roll 20s. And yeah, it's a extra critical. It's against enemies that have a AC that's high enough so that someone can't hit on anything but a 20. You just double their chance of hitting. And for you, it's an extra 5% in your crit chance, making it so that we are at a 55% crit chance. So really nice, especially because it works for your entire party. Now for feat we take Flawless Attacks, increases our chance to hit. You could take our attack Mythic a bit earlier if you want. I don't think it's bad, but I'd rather have the extra reliability. We already do enough damage to kill things basically in one full attack, so I left Power Attack as the last Mythic feat, mostly because I want to see the big numbers pop up. We didn't even need it. But at Mythic rank 9, we took Mythic Charge as our ability, so now our charges are even stronger. And at Mythic rank 10, we took Knowledge Arcana rank 3. At this point, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but we didn't really have anything else to take. We could have gone for Knowledge Word rank 3, but Knowledge Word rank 3, while very powerful, in my opinion, comes too late to really be useful. What Knowledge rank Word 3 does is that it gives you you and your party members the ability to ignore feat prerequisites when leveling up, but the earliest you can get it is at Mythic rank 7, which was for me past level 17, meaning you only have the level 19 feat choice to benefit from Knowledge Word rank 3. So you could, of course, instead of Athletics 2 and Athletics 3, have gotten Knowledge Word 2 and Knowledge Word 3. If you do have some builds that can benefit from Knowledge Word rank 3, it might be very powerful, but I went with the Athletic rank 3. Not that much of a team player choice. Probably my team would be stronger with the Knowledge Word 3. But yeah, I wanted that +5 to attack. But as you can see, there are many variations of what you can do. And yeah, your damage is just so high past Mythic rank 7 that it doesn't really matter that much, the fine lines, what you choose first, what you choose last. So that's it for our Mythic ranks, and now let's take a look at what you can expect from equipment. So in terms of equipment, we have some pretty nice rage synergies here, but all of them you find only past Act 4, so pretty late on. I'm sorry, not past Act 4, those first two can be found in Act 4. The hat gives you a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls while raging, and the cape gives you a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls while raging. The belt gives you a +4d6 on critical hits while raging, so all of them give you a very nice damage increase when you are raging, which should be every combat, since we have the mythic ability Limitless Rage. For our armor, it's something you find much earlier on, Act 3. It gives you a +2 bonus to damage against flanked enemies and a +4 if you have outflank. So, considering you find this very early on and the amount of damage it gives you, it's a very nice item, and I used it until very late in the game. Bracers, also just a really nice flat +3 to your offhand. There are some other nice options for rings that give you extra damage, gloves, but yeah, that's mostly what you want. Anything that says plus something to damage or plus something to attack, you want to equip. Also, just to remember, you always need a +4 or higher dexterity item, so maybe you don't use this belt, but there is some really nice dexterity belts you could use instead, like Assailant's belt, if I'm not mistaken is the name. It gives you a +2 competence bonus after landing a critical hit, so combos really well with our build. But the most important item here is Crimson Banner. You get this at Act 4 and it automatically confirms critical hits. It just guarantees that every time you land a critical, you don't need to roll again to confirm it. Not much to explain, makes so that you crit more often. It's great for us. For weapons, you have some very strong ones, but both of them come in just at late Act 5. Dawnflower's Kiss is the strongest. You find at the prison area on Act 5. It gives you extra attacks on following rounds when you get critical hits. We have a 55% chance of getting criticals, 7 attacks per turn, 8 with rage, so chances are you'll be seeing this trigger a lot during a combat, and more hits mean more criticals, so once you get this going, you just take off, enemies die really quickly. For the second weapon, it's nothing too special, just a +5, made +6 because of Knowledge Arcana rank 1, gives an extra 2d6 on damage, and also allows you to cast Mass Heal once per day, so you can heal your party after a combat where you took too much damage. As you can see, our damage is reasonable. Mostly it's that high because of power attack, but what really makes it get higher are the bonuses that we get only on hit. So the bonus you get only on flanking, this bonus you get only on criticals. We also have sneak attack because of Trickster Mythic Path. We also don't have the rage bonus to damage factored in here. We also don't have any buffs like legendary proportions. We could have gotten Profane Ascension. So this damage gets much higher. You can easily hit the hundreds with regular attacks and the 400s with critical hits. So late game, this build just kills everything very quickly. You also have the Trickster capstone spell Trick Fate, which makes you roll 20 on all d20 rolls, meaning every attack you do is a critical, and you can't be stopped by any spells because you make every save. This is basically a win a fight spell. You cast it on yourself and it just makes you so that you can win any fight in those 3 rounds. It's just 3 rounds, but there are so few enemies that could survive for longer than this against you. Maybe there isn't even a single enemy that can survive this long. Probably the only fight you can't win during this time is fights with large amounts of enemies, but most boss fights you can win with just this spell. Oh no, this is a nice build. I do sometimes wish it was stronger early game, but at level 4, after you get True Strike, it does get there. Yeah, that is it for my main character build. With that, I'll start posting some combat showcases of Prologue and early Act 1 fights as I keep posting the remaining companion builds. We'll get to higher level fights. I'll try to showcase at least one fight with each companion, so even companions you'll get much later on, like Greybor, Regil, and Sozio as well, Arushale. I'll try to post at least one fight with each of them. But for now, I hope you have a good time. I'll see you next video.